Hey guys, I'm Proud, and today I'm going to talk about the astronauts who flew SpaceX Crew Dragon to the space station are set to come home on Sunday. Watch their fiery return flight live. SpaceX made history in May when it became the first company to launch a crewed spaceship to the International Space Station. In doing so, Elon Musk's rocket company also revived the U.S. ability to launch its own astronauts into space, which it hadn't been possible since the Space Shuttle program ended in 2011. 2 months later, the mission's astronaut Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley are about to come home in the same spaceship, which they have named Endeavour. Their journey includes a fiery return through Earth's atmosphere. NASA will stream that flight as well as process in which the spaceship undocks from the space station. Like this weekend, you can watch below via NASA TV. Here's the schedule. On Saturday, August 1st, the astronauts will participate in an ISS farewell ceremony around 9:10 a.m. Eastern Time. Then, NASA's undocking coverage starts at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time, ahead of astronauts' scheduled 7:34 p.m. departure. Then on Sunday, August 2nd, assuming all goes well, the Crew Dragon should splash down the Atlantic Ocean around 2:42 p.m. Eastern Time. A news conference later in the day will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It's possible, however, that tropical storm Isaias could get in the way, forcing SpaceX and NASA to change the schedule. The storm's wind and rain are expected to hit Florida on Saturday. What to expect during Crew Dragon's return? The first phase of the astronauts' return journey undocking calls for them to enter the Crew Dragon, after which the spaceship should retract the hook that connected to the ISS. Assuming all goes according to plan, its engines would then gently propel the ship away from the station. Once it's flying free, the spaceship is programmed to fire its engine more aggressively to put it on the path towards its splashdown location of Florida's coast. Then, after en route, the ship is expected to shed its trunk, which should burn up in the atmosphere. Then, the separation is complete. After the separation is complete, Crew Dragon should hurtle towards Earth at up to 17,500 miles per hour, or nearly 23 times the speed of sound. Here's an illustration of SpaceX Crew Dragon spaceship returning to Earth with a blaze of plasma ahead of its heat shield. During this fall, the spaceship heat shield will have to protect the hardware and crew from temperatures up to 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Musk has called this part of journey his biggest concern. After the Crew Dragon re-enters the thicker parts of Earth's atmosphere, it is programmed to deploy two sets of parachutes. The first opens at 18,000 feet, the another set opens at 6,000 feet. After that is the splashdown. The capsule is expected to land in the ocean some 22 to 175 nautical miles off of Florida's coast. Now I'll be showing you a video why NASA waited nearly a decade to send astronauts into space from the US.
Is stuff like this. Cargo mission. You're watching a crewed rocket take off from U.S. soil for the first time in almost 10 years in a commercial spaceship built by SpaceX. This is a huge deal because in the past decade, all we've seen from the U.S. is stuff like this. Cargo missions, experiments, and test launches, some of which have failed. But now there are 2 human people on board headed for the International Space Station, which hasn't happened since 2011 when NASA shut down the space shuttle program. Since then, China and Russia have been the only 2 countries on Earth that have ordered the most human in space. So why did it take so long to send Americans back to space from America? And why are we doing it right now? flight during the 1986 Challenger and 2003 Columbia disasters, killing all 7 astronauts on board in both instances. Coupled with rising costs, the program needed to end. But NASA didn't want out of the human spaceflight game altogether, because if we're going to go beyond the moon, well, we need more information.
One thing the space station helps us understand is what happens to the human body in space. This is a huge area of research we need to understand before we start talking about sending people to the moon and staying there. If we don't do that research or as much of it, then we're not doing due diligence that we need before we start sending people to these far-off destinations in deep space.
The plan was to come back in 4 years with a new program, Constellation. The program's goals were to complete construction of the space station, go back to the moon by 2020, and eventually send astronauts to Mars. And with all that, NASA would develop a new transportation system.
Plan B is, okay, we'll move over to the Russians, we'll pay them receipts to launch our astronauts, and that's what we're going to be doing for the next 4 years.
That didn't quite pan out. When former President Barack Obama took office in 2008, his administration declared Constellation over budget, behind schedule, and lacking innovation. It was not included in the federal budget for 2011 and officially canceled. In Russia, those trips can cost more than $9 million per seat. So, are the Plan C, the commercial crew program. NASA invests upfront in other companies to develop rockets. And once a rocket is completed, NASA pays for use, which on a SpaceX rocket costs about $55 million per seat, less than one trip on a Russian rocket.
This is the competition. If you can achieve these goals, we'll give you more money. And if you can achieve those goals, we'll give you even more money. To the point where you can launch our astronauts and test missions and we'll eventually pay you for tickets on your commercial spacecraft.
And what you're looking at now is SpaceX getting there first. SpaceX went through years of designing, testing, and failing. And finally, in 2020, the company was ready to get veteran astronauts Robert Behnken and Douglas Hurley off the ground.
It's been an incredible journey for SpaceX, but it hasn't been an easy one. They've had failure after failure. In fact, Gwen Shotwell, the president and COO of SpaceX, told Business Insider, "This is how we got here. We made these mistakes, we learned from them, and because of that, we're able to do the really hard thing, which is put a crew on top of a rocket and try to launch them into space. We're really confident about that because of the mistakes we made in the past."
Commercial crew vehicles have to be able to safely fly and return 4 crew members to the space station, being docked at the station for 210 days, and protect the crew and bring them back to Earth in case of emergency. And this is the Falcon 9 crew driver's final major milestone before it's cleared for operational transition. But a successful launch does not mean a successful test. We won't be able to make that call until Behnken and Hurley are back on Earth. And they could stay up there for 110 days.
This is about America's access to space. SpaceX can show that it, hand in hand with NASA, can launch people safely into space, and it opens up this huge commercial market for space, and one that is distinctly an American commercial market.
That's why this launch is deemed essential, even during the pandemic.
We want to see private space stations. We want to see private experiments launched into space, pharmaceutical drugs developed there, new materials developed there. We want to see all this activity. So it's crucial that we get going sooner versus later.
Both astronauts have been quarantined since May 13th, but this is protocol for every mission. What's changed because of the COVID-19 pandemic is this. The launch was closed to the public, and hundreds of SpaceX and NASA employees worked in shifts and wore the necessary PPE to minimize exposure. Despite the risks, both pandemic-related and inherent, NASA appears to be confident that these tests will be a success. It's already announced SpaceX's first operational launch, tentatively set for August 2020. 94 astronauts, 3 American and 1 Japanese, the space station for a 6-year mission. More missions are planned after that.
It's not just about human spaceflight and cycling football for the United States. It's about a new generation of commercial activity in space, a new generation of commercial providers, and blowing the doors off this really exciting world future, and not just for America, but for the entire world.
So that was the video, and that is all for today, guys. If you like our song, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you in my next videos. Bye.